Here to find out, is Ordinary People the greatest movie ever made?
What do you think?
What do I think? I think you married your fat lady and you go home and you fuck the living daylights out of her!
Sounds good to me.
Welcome to the greatest movie ever made, the show where we watch a movie and tell you if it's the greatest movie ever made. A movie that is so thoroughly entertaining or compelling that while you're watching it, it's the only thing that matters in the world. I'm David Scandura, joined as always by my co-host and ordinary person, Justus Burkett.
Yes, two ordinary people here to talk about the film Ordinary People. Directed by Robert Redford, recently departed, had a very lovely send-off in the Oscars in Memoriam this year.
Yeah, a wonderful in memoriam segment.
They trotted out Barbara Streisand, got her out of her basement mall to talk about her old friend Bob. It was nice seeing Babs again.
Yeah.
It's
That basement mall's so fucking funny.
Yeah, did you know that somebody wrote a play about, like, it's a one-man play where the character works at Barbara Streisand's private mall in the basement of her house. And it's just a one-man show about the experience of that. And I'm pretty sure the guy who wrote it actually was an employee at Barbara Streisand's basement mall.
That's fucking insane.
Because, like, the basement mall doesn't from what I understand, and, I'm not 100% sure. I don't have, like, research in front of me on this. But from what I recall, I think the basement mall is not just staffed with just any retail employee. I'm pretty sure, like, they hire actors specifically because part of the experience for Barbara Streisand shopping at her exclusive basement mall where she's the only customer is to give her the feeling of going to a regular shopping mall.
Yes.
Right? And so they can't just hire a normal, any fucking Joe Schmo to work at Barbara Streisand's private Starbucks, right? Because it's like that person will not interact with Barbara Streisand in a way where she feels like a normal person, right? So you have to get an actor who understands that the role they're playing is the barista in a Starbucks in a regular mall where Barbara Streisand is not famous and she can just come up to you and just be a normal customer.
Yeah. I think we need to spend more time talking about that. Like, as a nation, we all need to be talking about Barbara Streisand's basement mall.
It's cool and also obscene that she did that. Like, on the one hand, I'm like, that's a funny thing for a famous rich lady to do. And on the other hand, it's like, there should be, like, a cap on wealth. you shouldn't be allowed to have a private basement mall.
that's like borderline evil.
Yes, and it's also psycho shit. Like, the psychology of that. Sorry, not to besmirch Barbara Streisand, but the psychology there is fascinating. Where it's like, you are gonna shell out presumably hundreds of thousands, potentially millions of dollars to recreate a shopping. You could just go to the mall. Makeup artists, you could get, like, a fake nose and a wig and go to the mall.
I mean, private islands. Okay, I've accepted that. Private golf courses, I've accepted that.
Yeah.
Tony Hawk has a skate park at his house.
Yeah.
Of course he does. Barbara Streisand's basement mall is somehow too far.
It's just more, it feels more like uniquely American in a bad way. Like, it feels like it's like a grotesque reflection of this nation's values. That it's like, what's the biggest dream a lady with more money than God can actualize? And it's like her own mall. Yeah, speaking of extravagant wealth, it is funny that in the film Ordinary People, Donald Sutherland and Mary Tyler Moore are supposed to, they sort of, in the trailers for this movie and also in the movie, they kind of play it as like, oh, these are just everyday Americans. These are ordinary people. And then you see the exterior of their house and they live in a fucking 3-story mansion. They live in an enormous estate. And it's like, ah, yes, these ordinary people living in this $12 million home. Going to Europe for multiple times a year on golf vacations.
Well, I'm sure it was much cheaper in the 80s.
Oh, right. Everybody had a mansion in the 80s.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
It's not a $12 million mansion. That's fucking $60,000 in Reagan's America. Yeah.
Yeah. We're living on the other side of that now. And
It's bad. It's not good. Yeah.
Yeah. I've had to do several deliveries to richer parts of town.
Yeah.
And, like some of the nicer houses.
Yeah.
Many of which, like, I haven't been to that part of town before. And I was driving around delivering mail for these people, and I was like, I hate all of you. I hate all of these people, and that I am the puppet who gets to bring them stuff on from Amazon that they
Right.
because they can just buy whatever they want.
Yeah.
Whenever they want and just get constant deliveries to it.
Yeah.
It was humbling.
I feel like online shopping really increased the amount of hostility between mail carriers and the people that they deliver to, you know? Because before online shopping, your mailman was like your buddy. Like, you see that guy and you're like, hey, how's it going, man? Now with online shopping, I feel like the mailman sees you and they're just like, God fucking damn it. You ordered fucking 62 pounds of dog food from Chewy again.
The starting out, they're one of the early routes that they give you.
Yeah.
If you're a new person, is a delivery to mostly a mailroom. There's like 3 stops. There's a mailroom. There's the clubhouse for the community, and then there's a cluster box for a different development that they're building. And the mailroom is for this gated golf course community that they've been building here since I moved here.
Right.
Like over 15 years ago. They're still building it out there.
And like nobody lives there full time.
Right.
All of those houses are just summer homes for people who live in Phoenix the rest of the year.
Right. So some of those mailboxes are so full of mail because no one is there most of the year. And I'm delivering these people's mail and like trying to shove stuff into these boxes. And I'm like, the houses out here cost more than I will ever make hundreds of times over.
Yes.
And these cunts aren't even here most of the year to live there.
They don't even live there. Yeah. When I used to live at our old house, which was like outside of town a little bit, that it was like that out there too, where it's like there were these crazy like custom built like forest getaway cabins. And when I say getaway cabin, you might be picturing something like kind of modest. It's like, no, some of this shit, it's like 3 stories, vaulted ceilings, huge wraparound deck, 4-car garage, right? And then it's like, because I was a full-timer in that neighborhood, I would notice when the people who had those crazy houses would show up for the season, because I would like drive by their house every day on my like daily drive, right? And it's like the amount of those houses that were truly occupied for like 6 days a year total is it's wild. Anyway, yeah. All those people should get the wall. Barbara Streisand, unfortunately.
In the class war, Barbara Streisand will not be spared.
Unfortunately, it's the wall for Barbara Streisand. It'll hurt me to do it. I think she'll die before then. She is 83 years old. So I think that like she'll die as one of our last good rich people, and then we'll start doing the wall.
What is she? Is she a millionaire or is she a billionaire?
I feel like she's maybe not in billionaire territory.
Yeah.
But she's definitely a 10 or hundreds of millionaire.
Okay. And not necessarily undeservedly.
No.
But I will say
she's a very talented lady.
If you're using that wealth to have a mall in your basement that you can go pretend shopping at.
Yes.
That's a little bit too much.
I'm sure she's also given a lot to charity, et cetera, but also, like, you don't need them all, Babs. You don't need them all.
Just like Guillermo del Toro was showing off his house.
Yeah.
And he's just, like, got a bunch of horror memorabilia and stuff. And I'm like,
yeah.
That's great.
He's a man of the people.
Fine. That's perfect.
Yeah.
You want to have a room solely dedicated to Frankenstein?
Great.
Fucking go ahead, GDT.
You directed a very expensive adaptation of that story. You can have as many Frankenstein things as you want.
Anyway,
yeah.
That was a tangent.
Yeah,
we haven't
fine.
even started the episode.
We
really?
It was like vaguely related because we were talking about wealthy people, which this movie is like. I feel like as much as I was saying that the movie plays off this family as, oh, these are just like normal Joe Schmoes and stuff, their wealth is actually part of it. I do think that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How are you doing before we talk about some movie?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I feel a little overwhelmed, a little buried by work. I have like 70 unread emails, and like that number just keeps flashing in the back of my head. Like I feel like I keep like waking up in a cold sweat in the middle of the night being like, God, I got so many emails.
Just know that I will always have more unread emails than you.
That's it reassuring in one way, but also it makes me stressed on your behalf. It sound like my wife. But yeah, but otherwise I'm good. And I don't really have any recommendations this week, except I told you this when we were watching the Oscars together, but I have been getting really into learning about sumo wrestling on the internet.
Yes, you have.
And I would just like to recommend to any listeners who don't have a hyperfixation at the moment, just Google sumo wrestling, look up sumo wrestling videos on YouTube, learn as much as you can about sumo, because it is fascinating and it seems to be completely bottomless. Like, it seems like there is always more you can learn about sumo, because I have been spending way too much of my time that I should have been spending on those emails instead learning about sumo wrestling, and I feel like I have not even scratched the surface. So yeah, it's just watch some videos about sumo wrestling. I like that they call the like the facilities where the sumo wrestlers train and live, they call them stables. And when you're a sumo wrestler, you join a stable, and then like for the first like year that you're a sumo wrestler, all you learn how to do is the stomp thing that they do at the beginning of the match, which is like they're clearing the evil spirits from the clay ring that they wrestle in, and they just do that for
a year?
I think it's like a year, like for a really long time. It might not be a year, but like for a really, really long time, the only training you do is like all those stomp squat things, and it's like a crazy leg exercise that gets their legs like super jacked and developed, and they just do that over and over and over again for like a really long time. And you have to, like, when you join as a new member of the stable, you have to like wait on the senior wrestlers like hand and foot. Like, you have to do whatever they tell you to, and you have to like do all the cleaning and like, you know, like unclog the toilets and fucking sweep shit, but like every stable has like a commercial kitchen that they make all the food for the wrestlers in. It's like a whole like self-contained operation.
That sounds insane.
Yeah.
And also, as someone who knows little about sumo wrestling, makes total complete sense.
Right, it's like exactly what you would expect
Yeah.
from a martial art, an art form that has existed for like almost 1,000 years, you know? Like, it's like the reason that it's like that is because this shit is so old that there's so much tradition and ceremony around it.
Yeah.
Which is why it's fun to learn about, because it's like there's like 1,000 years of culture in this, and it's like, and people are still doing it, and you can just be like, oh hey, like I can just watch YouTube videos of a sumo wrestler explaining sumo, and it's the most fascinating thing I've ever heard. It's really cool. Anyway, how are you?
I got into German water pouring competitions.
I didn't even know this was a thing.
So they're blindfolded, and they have a little spigot
Okay.
and a cup of water.
Yeah.
And they have to get as close to filling the cup of water without spilling it as possible, just by listening to the drops.
Wow.
Riveting stuff.
And this is a German thing.
Well, I specifically saw a German competition, yes.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. It could be international.
Yeah.
I haven't explored it as deeply as you have explored sumo wrestling, it seems.
I feel like it feels German to be like, that feels like a very pragmatic competition, you know? Like, it feels very, like, clinical, you know? It makes sense for, you know, one of the nations in the world that produces, like, engineers and shit at a higher rate than other people. And also, you know,
Did that
all
thing...
all the other rules and shit that they're famous for.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm weird. I'm good, but I'm weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird but good.
Weird but good.
I'm glad that you've been mostly good during March Sadness.
Yeah.
It would have made me feel bad if you had come in here today and been like, I've been having a real rough time, and I would have been like, and you just watched this film?
I will say,
Yeah.
no shade.
Yeah.
And you know that I love you.
Yeah.
But man, I need to fucking watch like Sylvester Stallone shoot a bunch of terrorists real soon.
We only have one more movie left in March Sadness.
I need carnage. I need someone getting their heart ripped out.
You can watch whatever you want on your own time.
We were not equipped to discuss movies like these.
No, yeah, it's true. We maybe got in over our heads. I just thought March Sadness was a good pun.
That's how we got Jackson off.
That's right. I liked Jackson off. I thought I feel like Jackson off was like a good month of programming. We don't need to relitigate it. Would it have been better if it was only Peter Jackson movies? Probably, but it wouldn't have been as stupid. So I wouldn't have liked it as much.
And that's what makes it, that's what makes it good, is the fact that it was stupid.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Robert Redford's directorial debut.
Yes.
The Oscar-winning, four-time Oscar winner.
Yeah.
Ordinary People.
Yes. 4-time?
Yeah. Best Picture, Best Director, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Supporting Actor for Timothy Hutton.
Yeah. The youngest ever winner at the time.
Yeah.
For Best Supporting Actor. Yeah, it won over, for picture, it won over Raging Bull, which is still kind of like a famous...
And Elephant Man.
Which is, it's sort of a famous, like, people look back on that win and are like, oh, this movie didn't really deserve it over those movies. And it's like, I've never seen Raging Bull. Again, outing myself as a guy who shouldn't have a movie podcast. But I would say, like, I've seen The Elephant Man, and I'm like, yeah, Elephant Man is maybe a better movie than this. But, like, at the same time, having watched this movie, I'm like, I don't necessarily know how you can be mad about it.
I don't know. You know, Paul, if I may echo what Paul Thomas Anderson said, it was like, 50 years ago, the movies that were up for Best Picture are all still great, amazing movies. There's no best among them. It's just whatever you're feeling that particular day.
Yeah, yeah.
And looking at the lineup for that year with Elephant Man and Raging Bull, I'm like, I don't know, man. I feel like Ordinary People is worthy to be counted among those films.
It's a great movie. I mean, I feel like that's not a huge spoiler for our feelings on the movie, because it is like it's a pretty well regarded, acclaimed movie. And it's like, I'm not a contrarian on this one. So it's like, yeah, it's great. And it's interesting watching this movie, I was thinking a lot about how this movie came out in 1980, and we still get the type of kind of stately, subdued, emotionally driven, tragic family dramas, right? This is a type of movie that has existed since the 80s and before, and continues to exist. And it was interesting watching this movie, seeing the areas in which it is very recognizable and feels very modern at points. Like, it feels very much like this movie could have come out any time after 1980 as well. And then the areas where it feels a little dated. Like, it is interesting to see how this type of movie has shifted, but also, like, the core of it feels like it has stayed very much the same. In a way where I'm like, I get people who don't like watching movies like this, partially because they're like a downer, but also because it feels like if you've seen one of them, a lot of them make similar choices in terms of like the minimalist, like shot compositions and like very little like subdued use of music and stuff. And it's like, we covered Manchester by the Sea earlier this month, and watching this movie in such close proximity to that movie, I was like, oh yeah, there are things that are distinct about each of these films, but there is a lot of common ground between those two movies as well. And I think that's true of a lot of movies like this, you know?
Yeah, and also being a movie released in 1980, I think this is true of a lot of movies, but particularly movies that are released in 1980. They have a bit of the 70s left over in them. And what you get in the 70s with New Hollywood is a lot of naturalistic dialogue
Yeah.
and people talking over each other.
Yeah.
And
Which I love all that shit.
yeah.
The 70s, like, kind of, sorry to interrupt, but the 70s carryover stuff in this movie is all of my favorite stuff about the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we also get a little bit of the melodrama that we start seeing in the 80s, where things become a little bit more
showy?
Yeah, showy, maybe elevated, not campy, but like the 80s are the 80s are the era of the slasher movie.
Yeah.
And the action movie.
Yeah.
And I think the teen high school movie and the kid power movie, and I can sort of see elements of that more heightened, fantastical version of reality in this movie, even though it's not a genre flick like those.
It feels like, I think, to maybe stop dancing around it and just talk about the thing, because this, listeners, we have fully dispensed with the thing where we go through the movie in chronological order. We've talked about this off mic. We're just not doing that anymore. We're just going to talk about what we want to talk about. To stop dancing around the thing, and just kind of talk about the specific example that I think maybe we're both thinking about. If this movie came out in the 70s, I don't think we have the cutaways to the flashbacks of the boat accident. I think we're just talking about it.
Yeah.
And we're not seeing it.
Yeah.
It feels like a really 80s thing to put a couple of actors in what is clearly like a pool of water in like a studio. Like, they're not in the ocean. They shot that in some kind of tank in a studio, right? And the lighting is very stagey and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that feels really 80s to me, because it's like, well, we have the technology on a studio lot to do this now, so we're going to do it, right? And it's like, what I kind of yearn for in this movie, a movie that again, I will repeat, I think is great, is like the version of this movie where we're just talking about it and not seeing it, I think lands even better for me, Yeah,
there's the scene where Donald Sutherland is jogging and with his friend and having this very meaningless, menial conversation with him. And then as soon as that friend leaves and runs away and it's just Donald Sutherland jogging, we hear the same dialogue repeated in his head and then other lines throughout the movie. And then he falls over to tell us that he's dealing with emotions too, and he's dealing with these things, and that causes him to fall over.
Yeah.
So there's some of that sentimentality, which is maybe a word that I was looking for earlier that I didn't find.
Yeah.
There's some of that melodrama and some of that desire to show, to tell rather than show, I would say.
Yeah.
In this movie that is more in line with movies of the 80s, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing.
Right. Yeah.
It's just a thing with this movie. And like you said, there's some aspects of this movie that are dated. I think that's one of the things that dates it. Also, very beige movie.
Oh.
This is the beigest shit I've ever seen.
What a creamy movie.
The house is beige, the outfits are beige, the cars are beige.
Yeah, Kim Kardashian would love this movie. Kanye West would release a line of clothing in the color palettes from Ordinary People, yeah. Feels in line with the title, Ordinary People, to have everything kind of just even out to like a beige. Also, really, just every movie that we're covering in March Sadness is white people shit. This is a month of white people movies. This movie in particular, watching it, I was like, this movie feels even to me, a white person, aggressively white.
Yeah. Oh no. A major conflict is whether or not he's gonna quit the swim team.
Right. Right.
Oh
right.
dear.
Right. And it's like there's also real tragedy here. There's real stakes. But at the same time, it's also like Mary Tyler Moore's like putting French toast down the garbage disposal and being like, well, you can't save French toast. And I was like, that is a woman whose family immigrated to this country 3 or 4 generations ago. We're talking about not saving food.
I'm glad you brought her up because this is one of the things that maybe dated the movie for me.
Yeah.
And it only really coalesced for me when we got to the end.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll just talk about it now.
Yeah.
Is this movie unkind to Mary Tyler Moore's character?
Okay. This is an interesting question because I think maybe yes. I think maybe the movie is a little bit like mom is the bad guy here.
Yeah.
And I don't love that, but also like I felt the movie maybe I felt like the intent behind the movie maybe sort of had that in it. But as a viewer also, and like interpretation is art and all that, like the thing that I ended up kind of taking away from Mary Tyler Moore's arc in this movie was maybe like I read her as a lot more charitable than I think the bad reading of this movie is. And like I don't want to ascribe ill intent to the filmmakers or, you know, misogyny or whatever. I feel like maybe there's an element of that present, but I don't know. But like I don't feel like that's the only way to read this character in this movie.
Yeah,
and
I think there's more to the story.
Yes, and what I ended up really feeling at the end of this movie was that it's maybe good that these people don't stay together and that she gets out of this situation because it might be the best way for her to move on and to live a normal life where she can be happy and love again and stuff, right? I can't, like, at the end of this movie, I was sort of like, I feel that maybe the movie is saying, like, oh, shame on her a little bit. And I don't feel that at all. I'm like, I think maybe this is what she needs. I think maybe the thing that is preventing her from opening up and having an honest conversation with her husband and her son about what happened is that she is fundamentally no longer a place where she belongs, right? And she has to like remove herself from this and go be a different person somewhere else in order to come to terms with what happened.
Yeah.
You know?
This movie has a lot of our 3 principal characters lashing out and exploring their grief in unhealthy ways. And the fact that it gives Timothy Hutton's character and Donald Sutherland's character kind of gives them a nice reconciliation that doesn't, you know, in a way that is a little bit more sentimental and melodramatic than something like Manchester by the Sea or like a movie from the 70s maybe, kind of ties things up in a nice bow.
Yeah.
And it doesn't do that with Mary Tyler Moore's character necessarily.
Yes. And like their reconciliation or their sort of moment at the end, it's also not sad.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it is also like this thing of like, oh, well, they have each other and they're finally like able to be vulnerable with each other, right? And yeah, Mary Tyler Moore is like she has taken a taxi out of the movie at that point.
Her last scene is Donald Sutherland breaking down and basically confessing, like, I don't know if I love you anymore.
Yeah.
And then she just walks out of the movie and takes a taxi cab.
Yeah, yeah. And for me as a viewer, that moment is the first time in the movie where I feel like Donald Sutherland comes off in kind of a bad light. Because most of the rest of the movie, he is sort of the one who's holding it all together.
Right.
He's holding the family together, kind of. Because it's like Mary Tyler Moore is trying to act like everything is normal when it's not, right? And then Timothy Hutton is struggling very heavily, and like he's still fully in his grieving process, right? And then Donald Sutherland is kind of trying to bridge the two and like appease like Mary Tyler Moore's appeals to normalcy, right? And be like, oh yeah, like let's go out, let's do the things, right? But also checking in on his kid and making sure that he's okay. And so the moment towards the end where Donald Sutherland is like, I've realized that the way that you've reacted to all of this is like something I fundamentally don't understand, and I don't know who you are, and I don't love you. I'm not sure if I love you anymore. I feel some pathos for him where I'm like, this is hard for him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, these are also devastating words to be saying to a woman that you have been married to for a long, long time, right? And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like there is a kinder way to do this. And it is sort of the first moment of the movie where I was like, oh, I don't love this from him, even though it's true and it's honest. It feels maybe meaner than it has to be. And it's interesting that moment comes pretty much at the end, because it kind of leaves me feeling an interesting way about Donald Sutherland, where I'm like, yeah, I like that guy, but also like, I feel like there's unresolved shit here between him and his wife that like the movie just leaves hanging intentionally, and that ends up kind of being the discomfort that you sit with as a viewer through the end credits. Like Timothy Hutton, you feel good about at the end of the movie. You feel bad about Donald Sutherland and Mary Tyler Moore. You're like, they got to figure this out.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that I really like about the movie is though there is this kind of nuance to the way that the character is portrayed that might have something to do with misogyny, but is also like kind of, I think, supported by the script and backed up by some of the choices made creatively in the script. Mary Tyler Moore is so fucking good in this.
Yes.
And I was thinking of like Toni Collette in Hereditary, where where Toni Collette gets a couple of those moments where she can be really mean and cruel.
Yeah.
But you understand her struggle and where she's coming from.
Right. Her pain is always really present anytime she's on screen.
Yeah. And I think early in the movie, they do early in Ordinary People, they do a good job of setting some of that up with Mary Tyler Moore's character, where like they're out at parties and trying to be normal and trying to save face in front of everyone. And Donald Sutherland is not maliciously and not even not cruelly being very open about what they're going through.
Yeah.
And the fact that their son is seeing a therapist.
Yeah.
And she is like, she gets on his case about that because she doesn't want people to know. And it sort of comes across as like petty, and they bring it up in some of the arguments that they have, like trying to look good in front of the neighbors. But at the same time, it's also like, yeah, that's like private stuff that they're going through, and it feels weird to be airing that out in public.
Yes.
So there is that nuance to her character and that element that they're trying to bring in of like, well, these are three different people dealing with their grief in three different ways, and they can't communicate that to each other.
Yeah.
But I do think as the movie goes on, and it starts playing out a little bit more like, well, Buck was the favorite kid.
Yeah.
And the wrong kid died.
Yeah, right. And there is that element to this movie, which is maybe a little trite in terms of family drama stuff. But at the same time, I think this movie handles that whole idea pretty well. In that I don't ever think that Buck being the favorite kid is a thing that is supported by Mary Tyler Moore's character or performance. That's something that like Donald Sutherland and Timothy Hutton are putting on her, kind of, right? And I had a very strong feeling watching this movie that the reason that she is having a hard time connecting with Timothy Hutton after Buck's death, right, is not that she loved Buck more and she wishes it was Timothy Hutton instead, right? That she wishes it was Conrad instead. But that because the person that she loved the most in the world died tragically, she is having a hard time externalizing affection now because she's so scared of loving people, because it hurts so much to have someone she loves so much get taken away. And I kind of think she is pulling away from Donald Sutherland and Timothy Hutton's characters, right? As a defense mechanism, being like, if I don't love you so much, it won't hurt so much next time. And I don't think she's doing that like consciously. I think it's an unconscious thing for the character. By the way, this lady, the worst decision that she makes in the whole movie is not going to therapy. Because it is on the table. Donald Sutherland is like, this is just Go to Therapy, the motion picture.
He goes to therapy once and he's like, I have my doubts about therapy, just so you know. And then afterwards he comes back and he's like, maybe we should all go to therapy together. It'd be good for us.
And I love Timothy Hutton going to therapy. By the way, Judd Hirsch is the therapist in this movie. Like, we'll talk about him, but I think he's fantastic. But Timothy Hutton goes to see Judd Hirsch for the first time. And he's like, yeah, this is fucking dumb. I don't want to do this. I'm fine now. I don't even know why I'm here. And Judd Hirsch is like, okay, well, do you want to come back? And he's like, yeah. And I could skip swim practice twice a week to come see you again. And it's like he's so clearly like craving somebody to talk to and get all this out to. And so his reaction to the whole therapy thing is so funny too to me, where he's like saying he's resistant against it while also just leaning fully in and being like, I actually want to talk to you all the time. But yeah, it's very pro therapy movie. And yeah, Mary Tyler Moore, like the worst decision that her character makes is being like, no, I'm not gonna like go to a group therapy session. Like, we can hash this out on our own. And it's like, you don't realize you're in over your head, Yeah. Mary Tyler Moore is great. While we're talking about the acting kind of generally,
it's nice to know who that person is in that Weezer song. Because I did know who Mary Tyler Moore is.
That's who she is.
Yeah. I was like,
she's also on some sitcoms and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I
know who
mostly,
Buddy Holly is.
I know Mary Tyler Moore from reruns on the fucking classic TV station, whatever that one is. The fucking Turner Classic Movies. They would show like old sitcoms and shit. When I was growing up, and sometimes that would just be on. I would see like the Andy Griffith Show, and I would see like I Love Lucy, but also sometimes stuff from a little bit later. So like Mary Tyler Moore would pop up because there was like the Mary Tyler Moore Show. She was also in some other shit. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
I just know it from that Weezer song.
Yeah.
And I don't even listen to Weezer.
Oh. And but yeah, the acting in this movie I think is very good across the board.
Yes.
Timothy Hutton won an Oscar, youngest at the time to do it, for Best Supporting Actor in this movie. His performance had me thinking a lot about Lucas Hedges, who we praised a lot in Manchester by the Sea.
Yeah.
Similar performances, but he's kind of doing a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I think is the most similar between their two performances is that, like, Timothy Hutton in this movie is by turns allowed to be a normal teenager who is coping and managing and doing regular teen stuff. And then sometimes he breaks down, right? And it's interesting that it's not linear in the movie. Like, I feel like a worse movie about grief would have him go from like doing poorly to doing well, right? And it's like, that's not how it works. And the movie is very honest about how it works. So he's like doing kind of bad towards the beginning, and then it gets better, but then it gets worse again, and then it gets kind of better again, and then there's like the peaks and valleys, and he plays all of those so well, where it's like, towards the end of the movie when he's talking to, I think it's when he's talking to his mom. He says something about like it was a gray day, right? Or maybe that's the therapist. I don't remember, but he uses that terminology, right? Where he was like, he's talking about like, hey, like, you know, I am fine. It was just kind of a gray day, right? And I was like, that feels like such a like real life thing where it's like sometimes you are managing your mental health and then you'll wake up one day and be like, wow, I feel like fucking shit today for like no specific reason. It's just the thing I've been dealing with feels heavier today, even though it hasn't lately, you know? And I feel like he just plays, you can tell in every scene that Timothy Hutton is in where he's at, you know?
Yeah, I feel that a lot with the dates that he has or the interactions he has with women.
Yeah.
Where he's always dealing with this. He's always dealing with his depression, with his grief. And you can in those scenes, you can tell when he's trying to push through that and be normal and have a genuine normal interaction with another human being.
Yeah.
And the times where that wins out, and then the times where the depression, the negative self-image takes over and he just can't break through.
Yeah, and he just like shuts down.
Yeah, and it really goes back and forth. Like some of the earlier scenes where he's like just talking to the girls in the hallway.
Yeah.
It's like it you know, there's a little bit of that awkwardness, but it feels like he's starting to make some progress.
That feels a little bit like Lucas Hedges in Manchester by the Sea with his girlfriends, you know? It's just like, oh, he's got game. Girls like this guy, you know? Yeah. And then there's like the scene with the girl that he's like crushing on at the diner when like the rowdy guys come in and like make a big scene and he just like shuts down.
Yeah.
It completely like them being like rowdy and boisterous and her kind of like laughing along with it while he's trying to like bare his soul to her just turns him, it just powers him down, you know? And he's basically like more or less unresponsive to everything she says for the rest of the night. And I'm like, it feels so true, because it's like sometimes you're in a place where it's like, yeah, I can't deal with this right now.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, and sometimes just things affect you in ways that you don't totally understand.
Yeah.
And she's going through that too. She's apologizing for things and, you know, like unsure of her own behavior.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that both of these kids look much older than high school.
Yeah, even though Timothy Hutton was 19 when they filmed this movie.
Yeah.
He just kind of already looked like an adult.
Yeah.
Timothy Hutton is one of those guys that has always looked a little older than he is. In Haunting of Hill House, I had to look this up because I was like, Timothy Hutton is the dad in Haunting of Hill House. This movie came out in 1980 and he was 19. So in Haunting of Hill House, he's like into like his 50s. He's like not that old. And in that show, I feel like I saw him and I was like, that is like a 68-year-old man. No offense to Timothy Hutton. But
or Adam Baldwin is in this movie. We get an early Adam Baldwin performance.
Oh, you're right.
And you look at him and it's like, that's just Jane from Firefly and someone stuck some curly hair on him.
Yeah.
Like that kid looks like he's seen some shit.
Yes, very, very early Adam Baldwin performance. Pre-Firefly, also very pre his fucking right-wing tweets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but despite the fact that the characters, you know, feel a little bit older than they are, like similar to Manchester by the Sea, I feel like a really honest depiction of how teenagers are and how a teenager would process grief and depression while also trying to maintain a normal life and start a new relationship.
Yeah. And I think all of his stuff is some of my favorite stuff in the movie, especially his stuff with Judd Hirsch.
It's weird to me, and I don't know why I want to complain about this to throw you off. I'm
no,
sorry.
No. Complain away.
It's weird that this was a best supporting actor and not a best actor performance.
I sort of agree with that.
Because he's the main character. Like
I
Donald
do kind of think this is category fraud.
Yeah. And I don't know if it was just like, okay, Donald Sutherland's the more established actor.
That's
and
probably what it was.
His name's on the poster or what have you. But I was like, this is like, yeah.
It's Timothy Hutton's movie.
Yeah.
It's really about him. Like, I'm pretty sure I do even think the first thing that happens in the movie is you see him wake up from a nightmare. Because there's this silent credit sequence, and then, like, straight from there, he's remembering the boat accident and, like, wakes up in a cold sweat.
Yeah. It's his movie, and his parents sort of feel like they're on the periphery for most of it until probably like a little over halfway through the movie.
And it's like a solid 3 and at times 4-hander between Judd Hirsch, Timothy Hutton, Donald Sutherland, and Mary Tyler Moore, right? Like, all 4 of them have lots of real estate in this movie. But it's like, it really is Conrad's story. To the point where, like, Donald Sutherland and Mary Tyler Moore are left unresolved at the end of this film.
Yeah.
Right? Because Conrad is the one that we've taken the journey with. And, like, there's dangling threads, but he's in a pretty tied up spot.
Yeah.
You know?
I heard that this is because the Oscars were just the other day, and there's been discourse about Timothée Chalamet not getting Best Actor.
Yeah.
And why that may have been. And I heard someone say that, like, well, really what it is that the Academy's only awarded Best Actor to 3 actors under the age of 30.
Yeah.
As opposed to Best Actress, where they've awarded something like 30, over 30 Best Actress awards have been given to women who are under 30.
Right.
So it's just like the Best Actor category, you kind of have to earn your stripes a little bit more before you're in there.
Right.
And that's probably why Timothée Chalamet didn't get it, is just because he was in that.
Yeah.
It was just that case, that the way that the Academy tends to vote. So I guess I'm wondering if that's why
why they put
punted him to
I'm assuming
Timothy Hutton over to Best Supporting.
I'm assuming the strategy for the Oscars campaign for this movie was to put Timothy Hutton in supporting so that Donald Sutherland could be in Best Actor.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's like, right, because he's done his time, he's earned his stripes, he's an established actor. We want to kind of put our best foot forward with the guy that we can bet on, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then this kid turned in a really good performance, but he's also new, so we'll put him in supporting.
Judd Hirsch was also up for Best Supporting for this.
Which, like, if that had been the thing instead of Timothy Hutton, I wouldn't have been mad about it.
Yeah.
Judd Hirsch, great to know the name of a guy who I have seen in so many movies. I have seen this guy so many times.
Yeah, he's one of our great character actors.
He's around.
He just well, maybe not so much character act. I feel like there's a difference between character actor and guy who just shows up in things.
I feel like he's kind of just a guy in movies.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh yeah, like, I saw his face, because he has a very distinct, he's a guy with a face, right? I saw his face and I was like, that's that motherfucker from Independence Day.
Yeah.
And then I was like, he's so good, and I have never seen him take up this much space in a movie before. Because usually he's a guy who just kind of pops up for a scene or two, and you're like, oh yeah, that's that guy. I can always count on that guy.
He's angry and Jewish, and in this movie he gets to be angry, Jewish, and a therapist.
Yes. Yes. And I'm like, this is the performance that I wasn't prepared for, is this guy, where he's like, he is so gentle and empathetic, and also like a total asshole sometimes, in a way that is like like, I was like, if this guy was my therapist, I think he could fix me.
I wasn't sure. Because he's going to tell you like it is, and he's going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear.
Yeah.
He's just not going to be the most gentle about it.
No.
Or even Yeah, I don't know.
But I like that. Like sometimes
also,
I
like-
wish my therapist was meaner to me.
But also, like, he gets woken up out of bed in the middle of the night and is just like, no questions asked. Meet me at the office as soon as you can.
Yeah.
And like,
This guy's passionate about the work.
I don't want to, no shade to my therapist.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect her to do this, but
No.
she probably wouldn't do that.
No, my therapist would not do that either. I feel like if I called my therapist in the middle of the night, she would not meet me at her office, but she would probably have like a solid like 10 to 12 minute conversation with me on the phone.
Right. That seems nice. That
Yeah.
seems reasonable.
Yeah.
I did have a therapy appointment in the middle of watching this. So I did pause the movie to go to therapy.
Yes.
And she's aware that we do a podcast and that I said we were recording a podcast tonight and I hadn't finished the movie yet. And she asked me what it was. And she was like, "Oh, I love that movie. It was like a class assignment when she was doing her master's to analyze it from a therapy perspective.
A therapist's film.
Yeah.
This movie.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, you were doing like the fucking ordinary people augmented reality experience where you stop the movie partway through and go to therapy. Yeah, I feel like it is interesting the parts of the therapy scenes that do feel very modern and recognizable to me because I've seen multiple therapists in that my time with cognitive behavioral therapy and like a lot of the language in this movie from 1980 is recognizable where it's like Timothy Hutton is saying stuff and rather than questioning it or judging it or refuting it, what Judd Hirsch is doing is just being like, oh, why? Like he's just asking questions like, why do you say that? How does that make you feel? Why, why do you think that? And it's like, all of that stuff feels so not manufactured for the movies. It all feels like very like the dialogue feels so true and conversational the way that a real therapy session does. And it's a thing that like I was thinking about this in comparison to like Good Will Hunting where like it's a different dynamic between those characters. But I feel like Robin Williams in that movie is kind of playing the therapist role, but he's kind of leading a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And Judd Hirsch is doing what a real therapist does, which is just following the thought,
Yeah.
and seeing where it takes you.
I was thinking of this in comparison to The Sopranos.
Yeah.
The Sopranos sort of portrays his therapy with like there are key events that happen throughout the show or things that he brings up in therapy in a way that feels planned.
Yeah.
And her responses are leading a little bit,
right.
like you said, Robin Williams is. And my experience in therapy is like most of the time I just sort of show up and I just start talking, and eventually the whatever is really on my mind sort of falls out.
Yep.
And that and then the therapist is just kind of responding to that.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel like these scenes with Judd Hirsch go in this movie.
Yeah, one of the moments that I like in these sessions is there's one in the middle of the movie where Timothy Hutton kind of gets like a little irreverent and mouthy. Like it's not the one where he has the full breakdown where he says "fuck you," but he's just kind of sitting there, just rattling off whatever comes into his head, and he's like, "Yeah, I've been jacking off a lot," and Judd Hirsch is like, "Oh yeah, does that help?" And he's like, for a moment, right? And it's kind of funny, but at the same time, it's also like it is kind of profoundly sad, like all of the coping mechanisms that people use and that Timothy Hutton uses in this movie. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a wound, and so it's like even the jerking off stuff. It's like it's funny, but it's also not.
Yeah, and the other thing is about those scenes, and that was a great example of it. Is just like sometimes there's just silence.
Yep.
And you just think of something to say, or it's like you bring something up because you don't want to keep talking about it.
Yeah.
That I saw a lot of, some of the way that the things that I use and the experiences that I've had in therapy in these therapy scenes.
Yeah.
I haven't blown up at my therapist and said "fuck you" to them.
I like when he's like, do you jack off? And then Judd Hirsch is like, what do you think? And he's like, I think you live with a big fat lady and you fuck her brains out every night.
Yeah,
And
I would never do that.
Yeah.
That's so mean.
But it's funny because then Judd Hirsch is like, sounds good to me. BBW lover Dr. Burger.
Yeah, Dr. Burger laying pipe. Just
He's
off screen. That's a different movie.
He's like, damn, this kid's got me pegged.
Picking up fat chicks at the deli.
I do love a big woman.
Where's the set? Is this New
Chicago.
England?
It's Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah. You can tell in the one scene where Donald Sutherland and his coworker are like walking by the river. That's like the Chicago skyline behind him. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Chicago, big St. Patrick's Day city. We're recording this, of course, on St. Patrick's Day. Nothing Irish about this film other than the family drama and just general sense of sadness, I feel like.
Yeah.
If I had planned this better, this week would have been Manchester by the Sea because that movie's more Irish than this, but...
Or Banshees of Inisherin. That's a sad one.
I could have done that for March Sadness.
I was since we're talking about St. Patty's Day.
Yeah.
Did you do anything as a kid on St. Patty's Day, like as a family, like a family thing?
Not really. Like my mom would make corned beef and cabbage.
Okay.
But that was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause
And
I
we'd
don't-
usually watch the Disney live action film The Happiest Millionaire, which is about, yes, the face that you're making at me is what I expected when I
Okay.
dropped that title. We would usually watch that movie on St. Patrick's Day because the main character is a first generation Irish immigrant.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, thinking back on it, I haven't watched that movie since childhood, but recalling my memories of it, I'm like, that's probably like an offensive Irish stereotype of a character.
Okay.
He like rolls into town being like, tar, I'm a little Irish guy. I'm looking to make my fortune in America. And then he like goes to work for a rich person, which is who is the happiest millionaire. The title. Yeah. But this guy's just like his butler or whatever. But he kind of charms his way into this rich guy's household through his, I got my Irish charm. I got the gift of the gab. I'll talk my way into your hearts.
Yeah.
Type of thing. So we usually watch that probably offensive movie.
Uh-huh. Okay, because I was just thinking,
Yeah.
I was asking my brother about it because I don't remember doing anything specific for St. Patrick's Day in my family. And it's just like, it's weird that I feel like all the other holidays, there's something for the kids.
Yeah.
And other
No,
than
St. Patrick's Day is about drinking.
Right.
It is a grown-up holiday.
other than like one of the kids being like, let's go try to find a leprechaun or a four-leaf clover.
Yeah.
There's not really kid activities.
Yeah. It's not really like a right. Right, because it's a holiday about getting drunk and pretending that you have a heritage that you don't.
Yeah. I don't even know. I don't even know if we're Irish.
I'm a little Irish.
I think we're probably a little Irish.
Yeah. I'm not Irish enough to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, but I still do.
You're Irish enough to get drunk and eat
I'm
corned
Irish
beef.
enough to get drunk on a Tuesday. That's right. Yeah, I don't know. Ordinary people. I did think about like watching Leprechaun tonight, and I was like, that's too far. I can't be.
We did that last time.
Yeah, right. A Leprechaun.
We
movie.
could watch. Yeah, we could watch Leprechaun 2.
Leprechaun 2. Leprechaun in the Hood, maybe.
No, we got to get there. We got to watch them all in
We gotta
order.
watch them in order. Yeah. Warwick Davis, also not Irish to my knowledge, and yet he put on that
Is
green
that an
hat.
offensive stereotype? Was Warwick Davis not the right person to portray
He-
the leprechaun?
Put on those little boots. Ordinary people.
I have something I want to talk about.
Yes.
Rather than just saying the name of the movie over and over again.
We could just do that for the rest of the time.
Emmett Walsh
Yes.
is so good in this.
Yeah.
I love this performance, it's a minor role. He's the swim team coach.
He's the evil swim coach.
I don't think he's evil, though.
Yeah.
What I love about this performance is he's an angry high school sports coach.
Yeah.
And he fits into that stereotype.
Yeah.
And he's also trying to reach out to this kid the only way that he knows how.
You're right. I shouldn't have said evil.
And it's
he's just not good at trying to empathize.
It's a really sad performance watching him try.
Yes. The scene where he sort of starts berating him and then he kind of starts checking in on him, and every time we cut to Timothy Hutton, he is like tensely holding his hands in front of his crotch in his like swimming shorts. It's like, it's so uncomfortable. Like, you feel so uncomfortable looking at him, and you're looking at him at the way that Emmett Walsh is looking at him, which is like, this kid is like scared and sad, and like, this is like a little boy who is like, who doesn't know what to do or how to be, you know? And he's like trying to like tough love him, and it's just like bouncing off.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
I really like the scene where he tries to quit.
Yeah.
He does quit.
Yeah.
And Emmett Walsh is like, okay, I'm not going to let you back on the team then. Like, this is because he knows that this isn't really what he wants.
Yeah.
But he's also trying to tough love him and trying to teach him that he has to live with the consequences of his actions.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a small performance, but I really in a movie that's full of four really great performances.
Yeah.
I love that this one is just like equally nuanced and detailed.
Yeah, I think Emmett Walsh rocks in this. Speaking of like the tough love thing kind of bouncing off of Conrad, that's another thing in his relationship with his mom that I think the movie does a really good job of showing, is like, she is trying to make everything normal, and she is trying to like parent him with the same level of like discipline and whatever that she normally would, right? So she's like talking about like, clean up your closet, it's a mess in there.
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
And what he needs, and what the last scene in the movie and also his scenes with Judd Hirsch show us, is that he needs not tough love. He needs like someone to let him feel, and to kind of sit with him in that, you know? And Mary Tyler Moore is like not emotionally equipped to do that. She's like not ready for that. And so the scenes between the two of them, specifically the one where he comes home from swim practice and she doesn't expect him that early, and she's sitting in Buck's room, and then they have like a really uncomfortable exchange. That scene specifically, but all of their stuff really broke my heart. Like, when they're in the hallway, the upstairs hallway, trying to talk to each other.
Yeah.
And he is like so desperate. And he had a good day. That wasn't a great day. He's feeling good, right? And he wants to kind of just talk about his day and be like, hey, you know, oh, sorry, didn't mean to startle you. I know I'm home earlier. Swim practice actually went great today. And he just wants to talk about it. And she is just like shutting him off and being like, okay, well, you know, I'm busy. I got stuff to do or whatever. Like, you better go clean your room or do your, and whatever. And like the attempt from him, not being reciprocated is like the most tragic thing in the, like, that early part of the movie to me.
Yeah. And at the end of the movie, when he has had, you know, that emotional breakdown in Judd Hirsch's office after his friend from the mental hospital killed herself.
Yeah.
He comes home, they've come back from their vacation, and he says, "Mom, I love you."
Yeah.
and gives her a hug, and she doesn't know how to respond to it. It's simultaneously tragic, heartbreaking, and really sad, and also you just want to like smack this woman
Right,
and be
you
like,
want to shake her
hug
and be
your
like,
son.
right, he needs you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, like, she isn't ready.
Yeah.
You know? And that's the thing, like, we were talking about before with her performance. I think her performance lends this character a lot more nuance than it could otherwise have, because it's like, yeah, you get from that it's like she's not being the bad guy on purpose. She's not ready, you know? But yeah. The character Karen, his friend from the mental hospital,
Mhm.
because like what we learned is like after Conrad's brother Buck died in the boating accident, Conrad attempted suicide, and then he was like held at a mental hospital.
Yeah.
And while he was inpatient at the mental hospital, he like made friends and like met other people there, and he met this girl Karen who he links up with now that they've been out for a little bit to just check in and see how things are going. And he seems to have a little bit of a crush on her. There's kind of a romantic thing. He's like, oh, you're so beautiful and stuff. But also it seems like it's a genuine thing of like they were both in like a crisis when they met, and he's like checking in and seeing how she is, and also kind of trying to, it feels like he's trying to validate his own experiences and feelings as well with someone who he knows is in a similar spot. And she's like, I'm great. I'm fantastic. Right. And that seems to disarm him in much the same way that like the party animals coming in later in the diner does, right? Where he's like, what do you mean you're doing great? Like, how can, like, I'm struggling here. You're supposed to be the person who understands me.
Yeah. He's like,
Yeah.
I miss the hospital. And she's like, well, you got to, there's a real world too. You got to
Right.
live in a real world with people in it. And,
Yeah.
And it's like he wants to retreat and stay in what he knows,
Yeah.
which is, you know, the hospital and dealing with his grief. And it seems like she's fully moved past it
Yeah.
in a way that he can't quite understand.
Yeah, and I like the way that the movie ties this piece of the narrative puzzle up with just he's calling to talk to her because he's doing better. And then he gets the news that she has killed herself, right? And it's like it sends him spiraling. Like he has been doing better, and then he gets this news, and it takes him all the way back, you know?
Yeah.
And it felt really, this was one of the moments of the movie that felt really like, hey, this movie could have come out last year, because it's sort of a timeless thing that this movie captures, is like the shock of grief and the what that does to you, and how it can immediately send you into a mental state that you thought that you had gotten past and gotten over. And yeah, and like his crisis appointment with Judd Hirsch is like right after that.
Yeah.
But I think that it's such a well executed plot point for this movie that it's like it blindsides you. It comes out of nowhere in the way that it does for Conrad. But at the same time, it feels very real and grounded. It like doesn't feel like manufactured drama.
No,
Yeah.
It is one of the more realistic moments in this movie for me, or moments that I connected to, because I sort of think like the message of this movie is like, you don't ever know what someone's going through fully,
Yeah.
and like check up on people.
Yeah.
Because that's the feeling that I get, is like someone who seems so full of life and so positive, she's actually dealing with something really, really serious, and that, you know, healing and is not always this linear thing. And when he gets the news that she's killed herself, it is, or at least the way that I related to it is like, okay, well, what does that mean for me? if someone I know who seems so positive and seems so full of life and seems like they've gotten through this thing has succumbed to their depression,
What chance do I have?
Yeah. And it seems like that's what Conrad's going through in that moment.
Yeah.
And that's something that I related to. And it's really, I mean, yeah, it is it's so powerful. It's such it blindsides him, and he reacts to it, in terms of the actor's performance, in such a realistic way.
Yeah.
And the parents on the other end just hanging up after telling him that.
Yeah.
Because they're going through it too, and they can't. There's only so much that they feel like they can share with someone else about that.
Yeah.
I've had almost that exact same experience happen to me.
Yeah.
Where someone on the other end had to tell me that told me that someone had died, and then got off the phone almost as soon as they had gotten on, because they couldn't deal with it either.
Yeah.
It's really heavy shit, and I think really well portrayed in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought so too. Yeah. And the crisis appointment with Judd Hirsch afterwards is, I think, mostly great. The part that I don't know if I need is the part where Judd Hirsch starts speaking as Conrad's brother.
Uh-huh.
He starts kind of role playing as Buck. Yeah. And starts talking in the first person as if he is his brother. And Conrad starts kind of replying. That part I'm like, this feels a little arch. It feels a little elevated to me. I don't know. And the flashbacks to the boat, again, feel a little bit manufactured.
They kind of look like the Shrieking Eels scene
in
Princess Bride,
this is the thing.
with the lighting and the studio tank.
Right,
yeah,
exactly. It looks like it's shot on a soundstage.
Yeah.
I'm like, this does not look like the ocean. It looks like...
Also, people in movies just be dying in boating accidents.
They really do. They really do.
Everyone just in movies, they just go out in a rinky-dink little sailboat, and then they're caught in a fucking hurricane.
It is funny when you see them on this sailboat, because it truly is. The boat appears to be about 5 feet long total. And I'm like, what were two human beings doing in the open ocean on this thing in the first place? This is a lake boat at best.
Yeah, this is really some white people suffering.
We can't be taking this shit out. And I guess it's Chicago, so it's a Great Lake. But that's basically the ocean. You can't even see across those motherfuckers. You ever heard that fucking Gordon Lightfoot song? But
the gales of November came early for Buck.
And
Conrad.
Yeah, it sucked him down into the black depths. But yeah, so the flashbacks I don't know that I need, but the rest of it. So this movie made me cry once. I feel like a cry count's not justified when it's only once. I cried once watching this movie, and it was when we got past all of the role-playing stuff and the flashback stuff, and we landed at the part where Judd Hirsch is talking to Conrad. We lead into this kind of section of dialogue with him saying, did it ever occur to you that the reason that you held on to the boat is because you were stronger? Did that ever occur to you? But then he says, the line that really did it to me was, they've been talking in their therapy sessions about how Conrad is looking for control. And Judd Hirsch has kind of made the connection, or allowed Conrad to make the connection between control and suppressing emotion, not letting himself feel stuff. And I do think that there is also something there about how Conrad is very much like his mom, actually. And what he's trying to do is be more like her. Yeah. He's trying to control it more because that's what she's doing.
And I think that adds some nuance to the Mary Tyler Moore's character. And what we were talking about when we started the episode about the movie treating her as the bad guy.
Yeah. It's like she's actually trying to do what he's trying to do, which is control it all and push it down and not feel it. And Judd Hirsch has kind of been like guiding him gently or allowing himself to discover that he does have to feel these things, right? And so Judd Hirsch has a line where he's like, "You're alive. Don't tell me you don't feel that." And Conrad's response is, "It doesn't feel good." And then Judd Hirsch says, "It is good. Believe me," right? And that's the moment that, like, I just, like, the waterworks started. Because I was like, right, like, that's what it is. It's like, yeah, being alive sometimes feels really bad. And what you need is an affirming voice from someone who cares about you, being like, hey, even though it feels bad to be you right now, it's good that you are you right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's like that was a moment of the movie where I was just like, I don't know that I have ever seen this captured as succinctly before.
Yeah.
You know?
I felt a little bit better about the role playing scene. Like I feel, or the role playing section of that scene.
Yeah.
It seemed like it worked for me, but it also did seem like a moment where the movie became a little bit too sentimental and cliched.
Right.
But it did kind of work for me. I think that the moment that you just talked about really worked.
Yeah.
And then I sort of felt a little bit mixed about, I think it's probably after that exchange of dialogue, where Judd Hirsch says, "I love you and you're my friend."
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That was maybe it's one of those where, like, I kind of,
therapists don't be doing that.
They don't be doing that.
Yeah.
But it's also like, that's the thing that he's really needed to hear, that he's not hearing from his parents.
Right.
Yeah, overall I really like that scene. I think there's just a couple of moments that I feel a little bit mixed on, but
yeah.
I think Timothy Hutton and Judd Hirsch play that scene really, really well. But I was I don't want to say blown away, but I didn't know anything about Timothy Hutton. I haven't seen him in anything that I can think of. But I was so impressed with his performance in this.
Yeah, he is it's an Oscar well earned.
Yeah, I agree.
And you should watch Haunting of Hill House, because he's great as the dad in that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Every few weeks you tell me to watch Haunting at Hill House.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is fine.
I am a broken record. What can I say? I'm the world's #1 Mike Flanagan fan. I bet Mike Flanagan fucking loves this movie, because people never shut the fuck up, and it is about dysfunctional families.
Yeah. Yeah, and we even talk about God at one point.
Oh yeah.
When Timothy Hutton's talking to his girlfriend about God.
Yeah. Yeah, Timothy
and
Hutton's
they have two different opinions
on
God.
He's like, I don't know if I even believe in God. And she's like, well, I think it's a nice idea,
Yeah.
Very much Mike Flanagan shit.
Although if it was a Mike Flanagan show, that conversation would be 10 minutes longer.
Yeah, right.
In unbroken takes.
Dude, if Mike Flanagan wrote Ordinary People, that monologue that he gives at the diner would not get interrupted by those party people. That kid would be talking for 8 solid minutes.
And the camera would just slowly zoom in on his face.
He wouldn't only get out. Like, sometimes it feels like I'm in a dark hole, but then I am the hole, and then there's nothing, right? Like, it would be like, no, we're going beyond that. The metaphor is extending.
Yeah.
We're pulling from classic literature. We're going to do some allusions. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like that speech that he starts giving. It is a moment where the score kind of starts swelling when he kind of starts bearing his soul in the diner. And it kind of reminds you that the movie has a score.
Yeah, I was going to ask
a lot of the time.
I was going to ask if you had any thoughts on the score, because this is another one of those where I wasn't really paying attention, so I don't know how I feel about it.
I kind of don't know how to feel about it either, because my main takeaway from this is I was like, I feel like if the movie had used music less or more, it maybe would have made a stronger impression on me.
Okay.
Like if we went the No Country route and it was just like fucking it's dead silent the whole time, like because the opening credits are in silence, and I think that's enormously effective. But then there's like little swells here and there, and I'm like, I don't know. I feel like Manchester by the Sea maybe does a similar thing better, where large stretches of that movie are silent, but then there's these big, like, emotional swells of music. And I feel like this movie is trying for something in a similar vein, and it just doesn't do it as well.
Yeah. Was this the saddest movie that we've seen so far for this?
Interesting question for March Sadness. So, for me, I think yes. Because, like, Manchester by the Sea is very big in its tragedy, right? It's kind of a quiet, subdued movie, but the thing that happens is big. Jean de Florette, as we talked about, is sort of a different type of sad.
Yeah.
This movie, I went to bed last night, and I got into bed with my wife, and I was like, that movie was so fucking sad. And I just went to bed feeling bummed out. You know? I think this might be the saddest movie of March Sadness so far. I don't know how you... I don't know about you.
I kind of think so, too.
Yeah, it was rough.
Like, Manchester by the Sea has that quiet, subdued energy to it. There's also a sense of, like, kind of living in the world and soaking in the imagery of New England. And we kind of talked about how that's kind of like at the same time beautiful and also ugly.
Yeah.
And there's some humor in Manchester by the Sea with like this sort of slice of life stuff. And Jean de Florette is like has this kind of Greek tragedy or this biblical tragedy to it that gives it an air of romanticism. And a kind of like heightened sense of reality. And in this, it's just like. It's just a bad time.
It's painful.
And the movie ends with the parents splitting up, and like I don't know, with the other movies, like I'll let the credits run and listen to the music and, go to the bathroom or get up and do something and sort of still just like kind of like live in the moment.
Right.
When the credits rolled on this movie, because I actually checked this out from the library. When the credits started rolling, I got up, took it out of my PlayStation, and put it back in the case. Because I was like, I don't want to deal with this shit anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. It's heavy shit.
Yeah,
this is what March Sadness was intended to be.
Yeah,
about.
I mean,
it's also like it's hard to talk about a movie like this.
This is a kid who slit his wrists down the street.
Yeah.
Not across the street. He went down the street.
Yeah. Which it is funny that there's an ADR line from an EMT being like, oh, the kid meant business. He did it the right way. And I'm like, we were even doing that in 1980?
I guess so, man.
That was a trope in 1980. Where
My Chemical Romance hadn't even been a thing yet.
Right. Like Donnie Darko's not even around
yet. You can't go to a Hot Topic. Yeah. Invader Zim isn't on TV yet.
Right.
Salad Fingers.
Yeah, right.
YouTube. Anyway.
I like rusty spoons.
That's the only episode of Salad Fingers I've seen is the first one.
I've seen a few of them.
Hubert Cumberdale, you taste like soot and poo.
Anyway.
I feel like if Conrad, if Conrad was around in the days of YouTube, like if he was experiencing his struggles while YouTube was a thing, he'd probably be doing a little bit better because he could watch some Slipknot music videos. He could watch some Salad Fingers.
He would be AJ Soprano. Is the succinct way to...
Yeah.
He would be AJ Soprano.
He'd be putting on eyeliner. He'd be wearing the Jinkos with the chains.
Yes.
Yes. Right. He could go
He'd
to
be
Hot
smoking
Topic.
weed. He would come home and be like, God is dead.
Yeah.
And getting his ass beat by his parents.
He could meet a goth baddie.
He would be thriving.
At the local Spencer's Gifts and, make it work, Yeah.
Oh, God. You haven't seen The Sopranos. You really need to watch The Sopranos.
I need to watch The Sopranos.
Because AJ Soprano is my second favorite character of the entire show.
Yeah, I do need to watch The Sopranos.
And oh man, I'm just thinking about. I've been watching it, rewatching it in between other things. So like I'll watch a season of a different show and then throw on Sopranos. I have season 6 coming up, which is the final season, and oh boy, there's some rough stuff that goes down with AJ in season 6.
Yeah,
he does not have a good time.
I do know some spoilers for the show, so I think I know some of the stuff that goes down.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's a fucking sad ass movie. It's really sad.
Yeah, is there anything else to talk about?
I don't know. I feel like we talked about this one kind of loosely, but it's like, I don't know. Donald Sutherland brings home a beautiful Christmas tree, and Mary Tyler Moore is like not in a place to receive holiday cheer.
Yeah,
so,
this is a Christmas movie.
So they start like
Two.
there's a big fight that breaks out, and fucking Conrad has to like yell at both of his parents, and it's rough stuff. I don't know what else there is to
She
talk
goes
about.
to the mall and like disassociates in a dress store.
Ooh, who hasn't? Disassociated at the mall specifically.
Yeah, I'm sure Barbara Streisand's done that in her basement mall.
Basement mall. Yeah, she goes
It's
to the Macy's in her house.
And some probably underpaid actor has to go up to her and be like, "Ma'am, is there anything I can help you with?"
Some lady trying to get her SAG card. Down in Barbara Streisand's basement mall is like, can I
Do
get
they
you this
live
in your
there?
size? I don't think they live there. I think they commute. Presumably, you have to go through security of some kind.
Yeah.
Barbara Streisand's
But what if she
security
wants to
detail
go-
checks you out before you're shipped at the basement mall.
It'd be funny if she had a Hot Topic down there.
Oh, that
Spencer's Gifts.
Barbara Streisand, if you have a Hot Topic in your basement mall, I am actively applying for that job. I will be the manager of your basement Hot Topic. I am also an actor looking to get my SAG card. I'll get my lip pierced and everything.
Yeah. I'll work at the sword and knife store.
Right. One of those that opens in the spot in the mall.
Right.
Where like there was a laser tag placed
Yeah, you
there
can
for a little bit.
You can get a katana for
There-
$250 and also a replica of Frostmourne.
It's cool that when malls were dying and real estate at a mall got cheaper, you just started seeing fucking weirdos rent out like a spot at a mall for whatever they wanted to do. There was a guy at the Prescott Mall when the Prescott Mall was like kind of on its last legs. When I was like about to leave for college, there was a guy who he custom printed tees and just sold them on a folding table in a like mall storefront, but he didn't do any kind of decorating. It was just like the glass mall door.
Yeah.
And then this guy with a folding table, and he was selling like tie-dye t-shirts with like that he had screen printed with like characters that he did not own the rights to. It
That's
was like
awesome.
you can buy a tie-dye shirt with like Goofy on
You
it.
fucking buy bootleg shirts at the mall. That's
just
rad
at
as
the
fucking hell.
Prescott Mall. Yeah. There were no rules. It's the Wild West, baby. Yeah.
That's Ordinary People.
Right.
I'm killing the episode
Yeah, we
right
should
there.
call it. We should call it.
I'm dragging it out back and
Yeah.
shooting it behind the chemical sheds.
That's right. Yeah.
Justice is Ordinary People, the greatest movie ever made.
David, so despite my total inability to speak coherently about this movie on this episode, I liked it a lot. I really enjoyed this film. I do think it's the saddest of March Sadness so far. It really affected me, and as a person who has been in therapy for several years now, it felt very true and authentic to my experience in a way that it was like kind of cathartic to see on screen.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have some gripes with the movie as well. I do think that there are elements that feel a little bit dated. And I do kind of feel like Mary Tyler Moore's character maybe gets the short end of the stick. I feel like that is kind of made up for by her performance, allowing the audience to take away kind of a more nuanced take. But I do maybe wish that the script kind of gave her character a little bit more empathy. overall, I'm going to give this one a no, because I think on a filmmaking level, I think Robert Redford's direction is very patient and stately, and I didn't really get a lot more from it than that. I feel like in Manchester by the Sea, there were like shots that were really jumping out at me and like really like captivating me, you know? And in this movie, I feel like it's very anchored to the performances, and I think that's good. But it also does not have a lot of it doesn't have a lot of distinct visual like style or flair that I latched onto. And I don't think it needed to be showy. I think those things can be subtle. But it just felt like this felt like a movie that looked like movies that I've seen before. It made me feel some things that maybe other movies hadn't made me feel before. But I ultimately came out the other end of this enjoying the experience, but it didn't really like stick with me that much.
Okay.
You know? So no. But like, I think this is a good movie, and I think the performances in this are phenomenal, and I think it's worth seeing. David, is Ordinary People, directed by Robert Redford, the greatest movie ever made?
Justus, I'm going to echo a lot of what you said. I think this is a good movie, even a great movie.
Yeah.
I think it is it was a Best Picture win that was well deserved.
Yeah.
And I think the performances here are so surprising and nuanced and detailed, and these characters feel so real to me. And I think this offered me, some catharsis in terms of like my experiences with depression and grief. It spoke to those experiences in a way that was authentic. I was also just like not ready for this movie.
Yeah.
I was not ready to be beaten down this heavily by this thing. So like, it's not a fun movie.
No.
It's not an enjoyable experience. It's like, I came out of the other end ready to be off the ride. And this is one of those where it's like I was also just kind of distracted today to begin with. I would really love to see this again in a few years.
Yeah. Yeah, not one that you can just kind of hit again in a few months.
No. I did just throw on Gaspar Noé's Irreversible.
Yeah.
But I can't really just throw on Ordinary People.
You can't throw on Ordinary People. Yeah. You got to be prepped for it.
Anyway, yeah, this was a rough time.
Yeah.
And there's a lot that I'm impressed with. I also think like this is a well-made movie. This is a great movie. I am interested in seeing more of what Robert Redford has directed. But I don't really, and this was his first movie, but I don't really feel that directorial stamp on this thing. I think what makes this movie is the script and the performances, and I don't know how much of that is coming from the direction.
Yeah.
So, all that to say, I wasn't exactly in the right mood for this thing, and as much as I appreciate it, and as much as I think that like it is a pretty great movie, having any more of a solid opinion on it is just not something that I can do right now. So I'm gonna say it's not the greatest movie ever made. Yeah.
Maybe
gonna
sort
have
of
to sit and think on this one for a little bit longer.
Yeah, sort of a no by default, sort of incomplete
Yeah.
rating. Maybe from both of us on this episode, because honestly, I don't know if I was ready for this thing either. Yeah.
What are we watching next week?
Next week we are watching After Sun,
Yeah.
starring Paul Mescal.
I know nothing about this other than I've heard it is very sad.
Yep. we will be capping off March Sadness with seeing what this motherfucker's sad about. That, you know, last year he was sad about fucking his kid dying. He was William Shakespeare, but a few years before that, he also was in a sad movie where he's a sad dad.
Then he was in Gladiator 2, which is a weird choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess tune in next week for us to talk about sad Paul Mescal.
In the meantime, just want to say, like, take care of yourself. Reach out to someone.
Also,
check in on your friends.
I truly do mean this from the bottom of my heart because this movie made me think about it. If you are wondering if you should go to therapy and you're not in therapy, go to therapy.
Yeah, I'd like to echo that.
Because this movie, one of the things that it really cemented for me was like, wow, therapy has helped me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Watching this movie, I really felt that.
Yeah.
So like, if you've been on the fence about it, just go.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. Less important is to spread the word about the show and tell your friends and follow us on social media.
Almost as important as your mental health, but not quite.
No.
Leave us a goddamn rating on a podcast platform.
Yeah, you fucking assholes. You're getting the tough love treatment now. The Judd Hirsch.
We
tough
both
love.
lit cigarettes and are now here to yell at you.
We're angry. Yeah, leave us a fucking review.
Yeah.
Follow us on Instagram at TGMEM_podcast.
That's what that is.
Or send us an email at thegreatestmoviepodcast@gmail.com.
That's right.
And
join us next week for After Sun.
Yeah.
We love you. Conclusion of March Sadness.
We love you. I promise that we'll talk about a movie with boobs and explosions in it again soon.
I'm sorry I did this to all of us.
We love you so much. As always,
later dipshits.